Wop, 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 wop. Welcome to the show. It's AEW Fyter Fest Night 2 recap. I'm Dave. This is my brother. And we are here. We're wearing our Yankees jerseys. We're feeling the funk. We're feeling the Fyter Fest. We're in a fighting mood. Woo. I might even chop somebody tonight. How did everybody enjoy Fyter Fest? We're here to recap the second night of AEW's Dynamite Fyter Fest. Let's recap the results before we get things cracking here on the show. You can... where were we? You can drop a chat. You can drop a super chat as well. Please support the show. Please support our sponsors. Of course, we have Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Use that promo code Ringside20 for 20% off plus free shipping on your order. Manscaped.com, promo code Ringside20. Also, go to Stitcher.com/premium, promo code Ringside for a free month of Stitcher Premium. Support Stitcher Premium, support Manscaped, and IP Vanish. Go to vpn.ringsidereport.net for more on that. Get yourself set up for a solid VPN, vpn.ringsidereport.net. Support our sponsors. Super chat us. I see Bob Cote is in the chat. What's up, Bob?
Bobby.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Let's get right into the action here. Kenny Omega and Hangman beat Private Party in the opener to retain the AEW Tag Team titles. Lance Archer over Joey Janela. The Butcher, the Blade, and the Lucha Brothers beat FTR and the Young Bucks. Maybe a surprising finish there. We'll talk about that. Of course, Nyla Rose over Kenzie Page and Killin King, a couple of jobbers in a 2-on-1 squash match where Nyla Rose was doing the squashing. Colt Cabana and the Dark Order, Brody Lee and Stu Grayson, beat SCU, Chris Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky. I like Colt with the Dark Order. And Chris Jericho in the main event over Orange Cassidy. Orange going down. Jericho hitting the Judas effect. Nailing him with that Judas effect at the end of the match. And it's funny, we were watching that match. And, we were watching it, kind of talking. And I was like, when Jericho hit him with the bat. So Jericho, the referee was distracted by something. Like, it was a little bit weird. Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz. Or was it just Ortiz? Was Santana there too?
I think they were both there.
I think they were both there. So Proud and Powerful accompanied Jericho to the ring. For some reason, they're there, but the best friends, they're like not there for Orange. They showed up later on, but they weren't there the whole time. You would think that if they're really good friends with Orange, I guess they're not best friends with Orange. They're just best friends with each other.
They're good acquaintances.
They're just kind of good buddies with Orange. I don't know. But you would think that if they really had Orange's back, they would have been there the whole time while Proud and Powerful is there backing up Chris Jericho, who's a notorious, dastardly cheater. But, I guess the best friends are just dummies and they don't know any better.
You got to stack the odds against the babyface.
Or they just don't care about Orange Cassidy.
That's usually how it works,
Maybe they just don't care.
Maybe. We get a cause for further storylines.
Anyways, so Ortiz tosses orange juice in Orange Cassidy's face, which blinds him. Now it is your assumption that if you do spray orange juice in somebody's face, that it is an effective move and they will be blinded. I say you only get wet and sticky. I don't think you'll actually be blinded by orange juice. Oh. What do you all think?
The citric acid would definitely burn your eyes.
No.
Remember, it's like Seinfeld when George gets hit with the grapefruit. Citric acid. And his eyes all messed up. He's like blinking. He's irritated.
Throw orange juice in my face like Orange Cassidy got orange juice tossed in his face. Let's see.
Do you have any in your fridge?
No. We'll get some.
It's got pulp too. Lots of pulp.
We'll get some and we'll do it to AJ.
Not just some pulp.
Not me.
Just some pulp.
Let's do it to AJ. I don't want to do it to me.
All right, AJ.
Or Fred. Johnny. Let's do it to Johnny. Johnny's a wrestler. He's good at taking stuff.
Although he might say his eyes burn just to spite you. Because that's not your contention. He might be like, well, if Dave thinks it's not gonna burn me, then I'm gonna say it really burns me.
He would do that.
Just to work you.
So, anyways, Orange Cassidy gets orange juice tossed in his face. And he's acting like it's burning his eyes and he can't see. The referee gets mad at Ortiz for doing this. Jericho's back. Jericho's got the referee with her back turned. He grabs the bat, hits Orange Cassidy in the face, then goes for the code breaker. 1, 2. You thought it was the finish. It kind of felt like the finish. It was close.
Code breaker's a good finish.
But I told you, man, code breaker, it's not happening. He's got to hit the Judas effect to finish the match, and that's what's going on. And then later on, we keep watching the match, and I'm like, see here, give it a second, Jericho. Any minute now, he's gonna hit that Judas effect. It's gonna happen any second now.
And behold.
And then, boom! As soon as I finish that sentence, he goes, boom! Judas effect out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. There's the finish. Patrick C. Hamilton is on the super chat. He said he didn't like the way it finished. That's kind of just the way Jericho's matches are finishing now, isn't it? Like that's just
the elbow.
Yeah, it's just kind of elbow out of nowhere. You know, Randy's got the RKO out of nowhere. He's got the Judas effect out of nowhere. He does that spinning back elbow. 1, 2, 3, and he finishes matches. That's just the way. That's the way Jericho's matches are ending
these
days.
Era of Jericho. He constantly evolves.
I didn't love the match. You know, I didn't think it was a great ending to that show.
Not a great main event.
No, I thought Fyter Fest Night 2 was not as good as Fyter Fest Night 1. I like Night 1 a lot better.
I would have put the 8-man tag as the main event, if anything. I like that match.
Yeah. I just didn't believe in Orange Cassidy beating Chris Jericho at any point. He seems too small. He's not been booked strong enough to be at a Chris Jericho main event, world championship type level. I just didn't believe in Orange Cassidy enough for that match to merit a main event slot. You know, a main event to me on a big pro wrestling show should be a match where you're like, I wonder how this is going to finish. I wonder what's going to happen here. And, you know, maybe get a surprise, maybe whatever. But in this one, it's like, well, Jericho's for sure going to win, and then he for sure wins. And it was really never in doubt. Orange had a little offense here or there. You know, he had his little spots that were impressive. He's an athletic dude. But at no point did I believe in Orange Cassidy actually beating Le Champion, Chris Jericho.
Which, like you were telling me, made the whole event feel more like an average episode of Dynamite as opposed to a special event.
Exactly. It just felt like a normal episode of Dynamite. What did you all think of Fyter Fest Night 2 on 10? What are you giving it as far as a rating? Last week, Fyter Fest Night 1, we really enjoyed it. On 10,
it a 7.
I think we both gave it a 7. This week, I thought the show was fine. It was a fun episode of Dynamite, but as far as like a pay-per-view quality show, I didn't think it was there. I'm giving it a 5 on 10.
Yeah, I think I'd go with you at 5. Like, there were some solid matches, but, like, some matches just weren't as good as some matches we saw last week. Like, the Kenny and Hangman match was better last week. The women's match was better last week. This week it was a squash match, but still, if you're going to compare.
Yeah, I mean, last week we had Hikaru Shida against Penelope Ford. I think it was better than Nyla Rose against Kenzie Page and Killian King, which was like whatever. The only thing of note in that match was that Nyla Rose cut a promo afterwards talking about all these guys with managers and how well they're doing, and she wants a manager so she can be the champion again. Which is kind of a weird thing to say, but she says she's going to bring out a manager and she's going to become a champion, just like Brian Cage is getting a title shot now with Taz and Lance Archer with Jake the Snake, and I think she said Cody with Arn Anderson. You know, she wants a manager. You said maybe Vicky Guerrero.
That's my pick.
I don't know. I said maybe Jackie Moore if she's out there, Miss Jacqueline. I'd like to see her back in the mix. That would be fun. I don't know who's out there that could really manage her. Could be a man as well. You never know who could manage Nyla Rose. Awesome Kong, maybe. Maybe she's not wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
You know, she was on AEW for a bit. She's a big monster.
Nightmare Collective.
Yeah, I mean, and that didn't really work out. And from what I understand, Awesome Kong just, physically not able to wrestle anymore. She's got some injuries from all her years in pro wrestling. So maybe you use her as a manager for Nyla Rose. I think she'd be a real intimidating force as a manager. I'd use Awesome Kong as a manager. I think Awesome Kong is a very talented person.
Yeah, she definitely has charisma.
Yeah, I've heard her interviewed, and she seems more like the woman that she plays on Glow than Awesome Kong, like in real life, Like she's more that, like, more very bubbly, not like this mean, but she was able to portray that character to a T just perfectly.
It's very intimidating.
One of the best female monsters in the history of the wrestling business.
Her run as Knockouts champion was excellent.
Yeah, so I think she would be really good in AEW as a manager. Maybe she'll be the manager for Nyla Rose.
Yeah, that's a good thought.
I'm good at this, okay?
That's why you're in your seat.
Bob Cote's giving this a 5 on 10. I'm giving it a 5 on 10. You're
As am
giving
I.
it a 5 on 10. I think that's about right. This wasn't a pay-per-view quality show. It was good, but it wasn't as good as last week where I felt like it was a little bit more pay-per-view quality. I thought that the Kenny Omega Hangman Page against Best Friends last week was better than Kenny Omega Hangman against Private Party this week. I thought that match was okay, but it just didn't feel like much, and it didn't feel like, you know, if they're going to beat the Best Friends last week, this match is kind of impromptu. Kenny and Hangman are on such a run. They're so, you know, they're up here as far as the scene in AEW and the booking and the rankings and the win-loss record and all of this. I just don't see Private Party as that team to come in and finally beat them for the tag team titles.
No.
So, again, it's another match where you're like, I don't really believe in Private Party. It was done in 11 and a half minutes, which is smart. You know, it shouldn't have gone longer than that. That was about as long as it needed to go. They had some fun little spots. They did some things, but it wasn't a memorable match. You know, I thought the match last week was a little bit better. Lance Archer over Joey Janela I thought was fun.
Yeah, it was all right.
You know, Joey took some stuff.
Sonny Kiss got involved.
That was all right, but
it happened.
it was like, it didn't feel like a pay-per-view match. It felt like just another match on Dynamite.
Yeah, just a throwaway.
So there's that, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at what's match of the night. I think you'd have to give it to Jericho and Orange in the main event.
I'd give it to the Dark Order against
SCU?
SCU.
That
and
was
the
pretty
Bucks.
good. Oh, no. You're
Oh, no,
mixing up the
I am mixing
matches.
them up.
You don't even know who was in your match of the night. You're thinking about Butcher and the Blade
Butcher
and
Blade.
Lucha Brothers
Yeah.
against FTR and the Young Bucks,
That's
which,
right. Nah.
you know, that was a pretty big match. FTR teaming with the Young Bucks, the Revival and the Young Bucks. They've had this feud on YouTube and Twitter and everything for so long, and now they team up. They're in a match together, not against each other, but together, and they lose, which is not something anybody was expecting. And I think I agree with you. I think that match was probably match of the night. Jericho and Orange was all right, too, though. Jericho's so
Remember
solid.
those boots in the corner, though?
Yeah, Orange.
Jericho did a great job. Jericho made Orange look like $1 million. He took some nice bumps. When he went, he did his like little slingshot dropkick, but then he fell to the outside. You know, like he took some risks to really like elevate it. But
Jericho made Orange Cassidy look way better than Orange Cassidy made himself look tonight.
yeah,
You know?
Orange could have been a bit better.
Jericho, when he got hit with a super kick from Orange, took a fantastic bump, made that super kick look like death, you know, just like boom, you know, looked like an explosion of a super kick, big solid back bump
like
on
Shawn
that.
Michaels gave it to him.
Yeah, exactly. It was really nice the way Jericho sold that. But yeah, there were some boots in the corner where Jericho runs into the corner and takes an Orange Cassidy boot, and it looks like it just, like his foot just kind of touches him as he runs in, and then Jericho kind of looks at him, and Orange gives him another boot, and it's just as terrible as the first one. And then Orange just kind of goes up, and I think he gave him like a Hurricane Rana off the second rope after that. But those two boots were just, they were ugly, you know, like Orange. Some of the stuff he does is nice and it's athletic and stuff, but he doesn't lay his stuff in. It doesn't look solid. Like his strikes don't look like they make any kind of impact. It doesn't look like they connect.
Sometimes they don't look like they're meant to, and just those little kicks. So
yeah, I know, but
I know what you
when
mean.
they look like they're meant to,
Yeah.
they don't even connect. You know, like, okay, he does that little baby pitter-patter stuff. That's okay. That's a gimmick. But then when you're supposed to look serious, your strikes look like garbage. So, you know, I didn't like that. I don't like Orange in there with Jericho because I don't believe in Orange. He's just too small to be believable on a main event level. And, you know, he's not Rey Mysterio. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no.
you want to be a main event level and be that size, you better work like a Rey Mysterio, and he's not that guy. He's very good. He should be in the wrestling business. He's got a spot in the wrestling business, but it's not the main event against a world championship performer like Chris Jericho. He's never going to be believable beating a guy like Chris Jericho at his current size. I think he's talented enough and he's over enough that if he put on a little bit of size, if he got some traps to him, he got some thicker biceps, maybe, you could believe him. But his current size, I feel like he's too small to be a main eventer. And that's just the facts of professional wrestling. When you're in there with guys like Brian Cage or even Jon Moxley or big guys like Lance Archer and Brody Lee, how are you going to be believable? How are you going to compete when you work the style that you work and you're the size that you are? If you could work a different style, it'd be more believable. But Orange just isn't believable beating a guy like Chris Jericho, who isn't a giant.
No,
but Jericho looked gigantic next to Orange Cassidy tonight, and that was really telling for me. I was like, this Orange thing is fun and all, and I like him, but as far as a main eventer, he's going to need some size, man. Do some steroids, bro.
We're not advocating the use of steroids.
No, I'm not saying that you should do steroids, but if you want to get big, it probably would help. So Lance Archer's pretty big. He beat Joey Janela. That was good. Speaking of steroids and getting big, Brian Cage is the new FTW World Champion. If Brian Cage is all natural, God bless him. I can't believe it. But, come on, bro. How?
Yeah, he looks to be, in his late 30s?
He's ginormous.
He's that size.
I mean, if he is all natural, they must be drug tested at some... Does AEW drug test?
I'm not entirely sure of their wellness policy. I don't think so,
because Jimmy Havoc just said that he had a drug problem and he's going to rehab. So obviously they weren't testing for that. Jimmy Havoc gets outed in some speaking out movements. I'm not exactly sure what he did, but it seems like some sexual assaulty stuff, Not good stuff from Jimmy Havoc. There were so many stories out there. I think he was one of them that I missed, but I know that there were allegations, and AEW kind of quietly let him go or suspended him indefinitely, and he said he's got drug and alcohol problems and he's going to rehab for. If he had drug and alcohol problems, how come AEW didn't know about it? I guess they're not drug testing him.
Yeah.
But Brian Cage, he's just a monstrous guy, super impressive physique, amazing. Natural or not, I don't really care. He looks awesome. I don't care if you're on steroids, dude. I think it's fine as long as you're taking care. I don't really care even if you are doing it in an unhealthy way. It's your body, your problem. I don't care. I don't give a shit about Brian Cage. I don't know Brian Cage. I think he's jacked and he looks cool as a wrestler. He wrestles his ass off. This deal with Taz is awesome, and I'm starting to believe in him as the next AEW champion. I like Brian Cage. Maybe if Dean Ambrose did some steroids, he wouldn't have coronavirus right now. Dean Ambrose does not have... No, Dean Ambrose has coronavirus. Jon Moxley is healthy. Yeah. Dean Ambrose died of coronavirus. That's where Dean Ambrose went. Jon Moxley has come back!
When he got that shot in his butt.
That's right. It was a coronavirus shot. He got it a couple years ago. Vince was ahead of his time once again. Trump gave it to him. Vince is patient zero. What the hell are we talking about? So Jon Moxley's going to wrestle Brian Cage. Yeah, this is a conspiracy theory. Jon Moxley's going to wrestle Brian Cage next week. Taz cut a hell of a promo. Another good promo from Taz. I was not feeling this Taz-Brian Cage teaming. I didn't like Taz as a manager at first, but past couple of weeks he's been delivering, man. He's been finding his stride. Last week's promo was really good where he called WWE a sloppy shop. This week he brings out the FTW World title, and I think for us it got the biggest pop of the night.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Did we pop for anything other than the FTW title coming out tonight?
ECW though.
No, we were not chanting at home.
But we were like, oh!
But we were like, whoa, shit!
It's school.
FTW, the world title. That's cool.
Rest in peace, Mike Awesome.
I mean, that was, a ECW gimmick title that Taz had when he was super cool, and that popped us big time. I was like, yo, that's the only thing on the show tonight where I was like, oh shit! Seriously, that's the only. Well, maybe when no, that's pretty much it. Not a great show tonight. 5 on 10. 5 on 10. But that title was really cool, and now Taz gave it to Brian Cage, so now Brian Cage is the FTW champion. I don't know if he's going to be putting that on the line against Jon Moxley next week.
What are the implications of it? Did Taz put it up for on the line?
Not really.
He just had it as a
I think he just had it.
He was a ECW TV champ for a while, wasn't he, Taz?
He's a world champ.
Yeah.
Might have been TV champ, too. I don't know. Who cares?
So many belts.
But I like the promo a lot. I like that he brought out that belt. And next week at Fight for the Fallen, it's going to be Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Title against Brian Cage. Also, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks taking on the Jurassic Express for some reason. And the Lucha Brothers versus FTR. Like, that's going to be match of the night right there, by God. Hopefully. Unless Cody has some sort of awesome opponent in the TNT title open challenge. I see that Brian Pillman Jr. has been hanging around there. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the opponent for Cody next week.
Little loose cannon.
They should sign him if they haven't already. He's a talented guy. So that's going to be going down next week at Fight for the Fallen. Definitely surprised by the Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers getting the win clean over FTR and the Young Bucks. Just goes to show, man, they can't be together. They must be apart. They are not a cohesive team. Even though they seem to get along, they did some tag team maneuvers.
There was no guy pulling the guy off saying, I'm taking the pinfall, screw you, shoving. None of that kind of usual stuff.
A little bit of like, you know, let's see you do your moves and like let's do our moves and kind of trying to show the other team up a little bit with like the moves they were doing on the opponents. But
that could be in jest and
they
fun.
didn't fight each other. It seemed pretty respectful the whole time. They just sucked as a team. They were just not very good. That's the takeaway that I saw. They just were not very good, and they lost, and that's what happened. Butcher and the Blade and Lucha Brothers. Lucha Brothers with a really sweet, like, what was that, like a pile, like they were hanging and they pile drove them. I don't know what they call that move, but it was a sweet finishing move that they hit on Matt Jackson for the 1-2-3. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, match of the night. I'd give it match of the night.
Yeah, for sure.
You're right. You're right about that.
Even though I mixed up.
Yeah, even though you weren't sure who was in the match, you knew what match you were talking. The Young Bucks match.
Yeah,
it was the match of the night. I agree with the Revival
Dark
and
Order,
the Young Bucks.
Butcher, Blade, similar kind of things, maybe.
That's right. Taking a look at the chat, Bob Cote gave it a 5. Patrick C. Hamilton didn't like the way it finished. Angelo Contagonis is on the chat. What's up, Angelo? What's up, Lauren Cronish? Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. We'll be back here Saturday night for UFC 251 watch-along. We're going to be watching UFC 251 on Fight Island. Jorge Masvidal against Kamaru Usman for the welterweight title. Are you kidding me? Hell yeah. And we're going to be
Fight Island.
I think that's why I'm so hyped, because this fight on Saturday is going to be sick. And we're going to preview that tomorrow night, 8 p.m., every Thursday night, 8 p.m., right here on the YouTube channel, Ringside Report Live. Myself, Freddie, and AJ. Although I haven't heard from AJ in a couple days. I wonder if he's missing in action. I hope AJ's all right. Shout out to AJ. We love you, AJ.
Where are you, AJ?
TK says, hey, TK.
Hey.
Fyter Fest tonight. I see Bob Cote gave it a 5. We gave it a 5. Is everybody just giving it a 5? A consensus 5 on 10 here?
Yeah. Across the board.
I like Colt Cabana and the Dark Order. Colt, Brody Lee, and Stu Grayson. I like
the finish.
Great finish of that match where Brody Lee is in there. He hits a spinning clothesline, a discus clothesline on Christopher Daniels. Stu Grayson is the legal man. Brody Lee, the Exalted One, tells Grayson to tag in Cabana so Cabana can come in and get the pinfall so he can win for the team. Because, of course, the Dark Order's whole gimmick is, they take these people that lose and they turn them into winners. And that's what they're doing to Colt Cabana. And Colt's a babyface and the Dark Order are a heel group. And Colt's not sure he wants to join them. And then at one point, Stu Grayson was down. Chris Daniels had Grayson down, and he had like a near fall, and Colt made the save for the team, and then Daniels got into Colt's face like,
shoved him.
What are you doing? Like, helping these guys? They're the Dark Order, but Colt's like, look, man, I'm on their team. Like, what am I supposed to do? I like that, and I thought Colt, every step of the way, Colt Cabana is making this better. You do this with anybody else, and it doesn't come off as well as it is with Colt Cabana. He's such a talented performer, not just a wrestler, but just his facial expressions. He's a great actor. He's really, I wouldn't say he's a great actor. Like, he's not Robert De Niro, but, like, for wrestling, he's a really good actor. He's done actual acting on TV shows. He's taken acting classes. He's done a lot of stand-up comedy.
Good storyteller.
He takes that part.
His podcast.
Yeah, like, he takes the talking and the acting and all that part of the business very seriously. And over time, he has become one of the best in the world at doing it. And he can steal a scene without saying anything. He's so good. I'm such a fan of Colt Cabana and the work that he's doing, this gimmick that he's doing with the Dark Order. It's a great angle. I love it. And Colt is pulling this thing off. Colt, you know, Brody Lee is doing his part and whatever, and they're all doing their part. But Colt is the guy selling this thing. Colt is the guy making this thing. You can't give enough credit to Colt Cabana. Boom, boom. He's the best. I love that guy. I love Colt Cabana. I think his podcast is great. I think he's great. Big fan. Big fan of Colt Cabana. He's doing great work. I was so happy when AEW signed him. I'm like, finally, a big-time wrestling company figured out that Colt Cabana is money.
Yes.
All right. That's it. We're wrapping up for the night.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Hope you enjoyed our Fyter Fest Night 2 recap. I'll be back on Thursday night, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. for Ringside Report MMA. We'll preview UFC 251, and then we'll watch UFC 251 with you on Saturday night at 10 p.m. You'll be able to watch Wrestling Uncensored, all the WWE talk you can handle, Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Somebody telling me this week they can't watch Raw. Somebody else is like, I never watch Raw, but I always listen to you guys. And yes, we do watch Raw and SmackDown every single week. Like we say,
sacrifice.
We watch the WWE so you don't have to, and we recap it every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on the YouTube channel with Wrestling Uncensored. Until then, like this video, subscribe to the channel,
Click
and when
that
you
bell.
do, you know it, click the bell.
That bell.
And by the way, have you noticed a theme? Baseball's coming back, baby. Go Yankees!
Garrett Cole's coming. Congratulations, Garrett Cole, by the way. Him and his wife on the birth of their son, Caden Garrett Cole.
Congratulations.
Ace.
See you later.